What if I told you Monifa never stood a chance? No, seriously, the talent was there. The vocals were undeniable. The look, flawless. She was literally handpicked by Heavy D, the same Heavy D who helped launch Uptown Records into a powerhouse. But somehow, she still got left behind. Why? Because the minute Monifa wanted control, the machine stopped spinning. When she dared to sing about men on the down low, radio stopped playing her. When she came out publicly and married a woman on national TV, she got ghosted by the same industry that once called her the next big thing. Let's get real. Monifa didn't fall off. She was pushed off. They gave her just enough rope to climb, and the moment she reached for more, they yanked it. And what's wild is, we never talk about it. We don't question why she disappeared. We just act like Touch It was her only moment. But here's the truth. Monifa was never supposed to win, not in an industry that punishes women for speaking out, for being different, for loving who they love. And the story behind her rise, her sabotage, and her silent erasure, it's way messier than people think. So how did we get here? How did someone like Monifa, who had all the makings of a 90s R&B icon, get shoved into the one-hit wonder box? It's simple. The industry trained us to forget her. Most people only remember Touch It, Maybe I Miss You. But what they don't remember, or were never told, is that Monifa's debut album had 3 solid singles and charted heavy on R&B radio. Her sound was fresh, her image was polished, and she had Heavy D himself overseeing her rollout. That's a dream team setup. But see, here's where the misconception starts. The moment Heavy D stepped back, so did the industry. And once that safety net was gone, the system treated her like just another background singer trying to break through, forgetting that she already had. It's not that Monifa wasn't good enough. It's that the music business thrives on narratives. And her story stopped being convenient. She didn't have the Cinderella packaging. She was a teen mom, a survivor of trauma, bisexual, open about addiction, and unfiltered before it was trendy. That didn't fit into the label's fantasy of what a mainstream R&B star should look like. So instead of adjusting the lens, the industry blurred her out. And while some singers got protection, Monifa got punished. Let's be honest, Monifa's real mistake wasn't flopping. It was thinking she had power. Because the second she decided she wanted creative control over her sophomore album, everything started falling apart. At first, things were golden. Heavy D had taken her under his wing, groomed her for stardom, and even helped curate her image, adding the H to her name, styling her wardrobe, giving her that clean, classic R&B look. She was basically a label favorite, until she had opinions. Monifa wanted to bring in other producers for her second album, which is normal for artists trying to grow. But Heavy D, he wasn't having it. Word is, he felt disrespected and completely backed out of the project. Just like that, gone. Now think about that. Your mentor, your executive producer, the man who opened every door for you, suddenly ghost you over one creative decision? That's not just ego, that's industry punishment. And once he walked, the label's energy shifted fast. Monifa's third album was thrown together with zero real promo. She said it herself, they just tossed it out there to see if it would stick. No marketing push, no budget, no backing, just vibes and prayers. Then came the nail in the coffin, I Can Tell, a bold, ahead-of-its-time song about knowing when your man is living a double life. We're talking about the down-low culture in Black communities on record in 2000. That was damn near career suicide. And let's not forget, Bet cut the surprise ending out of her music video. Yep, censored it. The moment she stopped following the rules, creatively, visually, personally, the industry stopped playing along. This wasn't just a career dip. This was a silent cancellation, the kind where nobody says it out loud, but the phone just stops ringing. By the time her third album rolled around, Monifa wasn't just dealing with a messy label. She was carrying personal grief, too. Her big brother, who had battled a crack addiction for years, had finally cleaned up his life, only to die from AIDS not long after. It hit her hard, and it happened during the same period she was trying to keep her career afloat. But the industry had no sympathy. After Heavy D stepped down from his role at Uptown Records, Monifa's contract got absorbed into Universal. And let's be real, Universal didn't care. She was no longer the chosen one. She was inherited, not signed with intention. That third album, Home, barely made a dent. And not because it wasn't good, but because it was sent out like a trial balloon. No rollout, no campaign, no push. Just, here you go, figure it out. And the messaging behind I Can Tell A song that challenged toxic masculinity and homophobia, that was way too real for 2000. Industry execs didn't know what to do with a woman singing about down-low culture. It was bold, it was honest, it was also blacklisted. Then quietly, without any press release or explanation, Monifa was dropped. Just like that, her contract gone, her buzz dead, her future stalled. The same industry that once treated her like the next big thing now acted like she never existed. But the music biz wasn't her only problem, because as the career slipped away, something darker took its place. When the spotlight dimmed, so did Monifa. She wasn't just dropped from her label, she was dropped from the conversation. One moment she was on the Billboard charts, the next she was just another "where are they now" trivia question. And behind the scenes, things were spiraling. Monifa slipped into a dark period of depression, the heartbreak of losing her brother, the silence from the industry, the weight of feeling discarded. It all piled up. She started drinking, a lot. And when that wasn't enough to numb the pain, she turned to cocaine. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't dramatic. It was slow and quiet, the kind of self-destruction that happens when the world stops checking for you. But then came the unexpected twist. Reality TV. In 2012, Monifa joined R&B Divas, Atlanta, a show that was part reunion, part therapy session, and part chaos. Alongside other powerhouse voices like Faith Evans, Kiki Wyatt, and Silena Johnson, Monifa stepped back into the spotlight. But this time, on her terms. She wasn't hiding anything. Not her past, not her trauma, and definitely not her relationship. In season 3, Monifa made headlines when she publicly came out and married her girlfriend, Therese TT Michel, on national TV. It was beautiful, it was brave, and it was controversial. Because while Monifa was finally living in her truth, her daughter, a devout Christian, wasn't having it. The wedding exposed a long-standing rift between mother and daughter that had never truly healed. Monifa had missed years of her daughter's life chasing music, chasing validation, chasing her own broken pieces. And now that she was finally whole, her daughter didn't recognize the woman she had become. They even went on Yanla, Fix My Life, to try and mend things. It was raw, emotional, and honestly, kind of painful to watch. Her daughter straight up told her, "You were never there for me." And Monifa admitted it. She said she didn't make her daughter a priority, that she was chasing a dream while missing out on motherhood. It was the kind of honesty most celebrities never dare to show. But Monifa, she let it all out. And that's what made her comeback different. This wasn't about chart positions or label deals anymore. It was about healing out loud. Let's just ask the messy question. Was Monifa blackballed? Or did she self-destruct? Because depending on who you talk to, the answer changes. Some people swear the industry shut her down the moment she stopped being controllable. That once she cut ties with Heavy D, once she opened her mouth about topics like DL culture and sexuality, and once she came out on national television, she was blacklisted, quietly, strategically. Radio stopped spinning her, labels stopped calling, producers didn't want to touch her, and it wasn't just her content. It was who she was becoming, a queer, outspoken, trauma-surviving black woman who wasn't afraid to check the system. The industry doesn't like that combo, not when it can't control the narrative. But then there's the other side. There are folks who say Monifa was her own worst enemy, that she burned bridges, that she leaned into pain instead of healing it, that she let addiction and attitude sabotage her relationships, that she got in her own way too many times. It's harsh, but it's out there. Some even claim she isolated herself, pushing away producers, ghosting opportunities, and not playing the label game when she needed to most. But maybe the real answer isn't either or. Maybe it's both. Maybe the industry abandoned her when she stopped being convenient, and maybe she made it easier for them by giving them reasons not to fight for her. Because here's the cold truth. In the music business, you only get one stumble if you're lucky. And if you're black, female, and queer, that stumble might be the last step you ever take in the spotlight. Monifa didn't crash. She got quietly erased, and the people who watched it happen just let her go. So where's Monifa now? After all the drama, the trauma, and the tabloid silence, what does her life look like in 2025? Well, here's the thing. She never stopped creating. In 2014, she quietly slid back into the studio and dropped a soulful track called The Other Side. A moody, mature record that barely made a splash, but hit deep for fans who'd been waiting over a decade. She followed it up in 2015 with One Moment, which again, No label push, no flashy video, just pure Monifa being Monifa. And in 2023, she popped back up on a nostalgic R&B compilation album called Already on the R&B Remix, featured alongside groups like High Five, She, and Allure. It didn't trend on TikTok, it didn't hit Billboard, but for real fans, it was a reminder she still got it. But mainstream attention, not so much. Monifa now lives mostly off the grid, at least by celebrity standards. She still shows up at R&B nostalgia tours here and there. Think throwback festivals, indie showcases, or one-off TV appearances. She's active on social media, sharing glimpses of her life, her wellness journey, and her love for her wife, TT, who she's still married to. Yes, they're still going strong. She's also rumored to be doing motivational speaking, wellness coaching, and mentoring younger artists behind the scenes. Artists who've also been pushed out of the spotlight for not fitting the mold. And no, she doesn't have a major record deal, or a viral comeback, or a headline-grabbing scandal in 2025. But what she does have? Peace. A rare thing in an industry that chews people up and spits them out. She's not chasing the machine anymore. She's doing what she wants, how she wants. And honestly, that might be the biggest win of all. So let's talk numbers. Monifa's estimated net worth in 2025? Somewhere around $500,000. Maybe less, maybe slightly more, but nowhere near what it should be for someone who had platinum potential in the 90s, a charting single, TV exposure, and global tours under her belt. And let's be clear, this woman was on billboards, she was in magazines, she walked so a lot of modern-day R&B girls could even get in the door. So where's her flowers? Truth is, Monifa's legacy got buried under bad contracts, label politics, and an industry that doesn't know what to do with women who aren't squeaky clean or perfectly packaged. But ask real R&B heads, they'll tell you Monifa had one of the most underrated voices of her era. Smooth, soulful, effortless. That buttery alto could make heartbreak sound like a lullaby. And beyond the music, Monifa broke ground in other ways. She was one of the first Black female R&B artists to come out publicly in the early 2000s. Before it was trendy, before there were safe spaces. She didn't do it for clout. She did it because it was her truth, period. She also peeled back the layers on addiction, depression, motherhood guilt, and industry betrayal. All on camera. And not in a pity party way, but in a way that made other people feel seen. That takes guts. So no, Monifa doesn't have the Grammys, or the stadium tours, or the millions in the bank, but she has something a lot of artists wish they had. A real story that wasn't curated for fame. She might not be on your playlist, but she's in the blueprint. So what really happened to Monifa? She didn't get washed, she didn't fall off, and she definitely wasn't a one-hit wonder. What happened was this: Monifa stopped playing the game. And in this industry, when you stop playing, you stop getting played. Literally, no spins, no slots, no second chances. She chose truth over image, love over legacy, and healing over headlines. But the cost was everything the industry promised her: fame, fortune, longevity. Monifa was too honest for her era, too raw for her label, and too real for a business that thrives on smoke and mirrors. She didn't fail, she was filtered out. And now, she's still here, still standing. No machine behind her, no fake narrative, just the kind of peace that most artists never get to find. So the next time someone tries to reduce her to a trivia answer or a throwback playlist, remind them, Monifa didn't disappear, she escaped.